Hey YouTube, today I just wanted to talk a little bit about concealed carry. I've had my permit for about 3.5 years now. Luckily, I've never had to pull my weapon or, use my weapon. I do carry a Springfield XD and 45 ACP. The background for getting your CCW here in Delaware is a little bit lengthy and pricey. Ran me about $450, but luckily I found a class that was relatively cheap. And I end up doing my class in one day and then going back for the range time at another time. Just a little background on what you have to do. You do have to fill out the paperwork that you get from the courthouse. You have to be fingerprinted by the local police station. You have to have a background check run on you by the Attorney General's office. You have to publish your name and address, unfortunately, in a local newspaper. After all that, you have to pay a fee to the courthouse to process your paperwork. You also have to do the range time and pay the money to take the class. So it's a lengthy process, and then even after you file, it takes um, about 3 to 4 months to receive your permit if you are approved, because Delaware is a May issue state, which means that in the end, they don't even necessarily have to grant you a permit even if you applied. So even after you spend all that money, you could still be denied at any time. Luckily, I was approved. I do daily carry a Springfield XD and 45 ACP. That's my everyday carry gun. I also carry a knife on my weak hand in case someone ever tries to go after my weapon and I need a backup. Sometimes I do carry a Ruger LCP and a pocket holster in place of my XD. If I need something smaller or if I'm at work where I can't be carrying a full size 45 every day. I do carry that. It does have a laser max on it too, so it's a little bit nicer for a short range gun. But when I can carry my XD, I always do, just because it's bigger, it has more rounds, and if the need ever arose, I would like to have that extra firepower compared to a 380. One thing I will say, that if you ever are contemplating getting your CCW permit, or in some states I believe it's called a CHL, I would recommend at least having in your wallet the numbers of a few firearm-friendly lawyers in case the need ever did arise and you did have to use your weapon. You would at least have their numbers on hand. Another thing people talk about is putting one on retainer. I mean, not all of us are made of money, so not all of us can have a lawyer on retainer in case we ever need it, but at least then you'll have the numbers in your wallet, somebody that you can call in case you ever do need to talk to someone about a legal situation. I hope that never happens for anybody watching this video. I hope it never happens for me. But I do feel that it's my duty to protect my life and to protect my family's life at the same time, and no one else is going to do it for you. So it's your responsibility to make sure that they're safe at all times, make sure you're safe at all times. Having a CCW permit does not, give you some magical power to where no harm's ever going to come to you, or where no one's ever going to try to do anything to you. I mean, you can't think that just carrying a firearm makes you invisible. Something can still happen to you, even if you have to draw and use your weapon. Who's to say that the bad guy doesn't have the gun and has you in his sights first? I mean, you may be hit. I mean, that's just a fact of life. Hopefully it doesn't ever come down to that, but some people get their CCW permit and they never even train with their firearm. I try to put as much range time I can in, money-wise and time-wise every month. I believe just in this last month so far, I mean, we still had a couple weeks to go. Today's the 7th? The 8th now? I've probably put 500 rounds down range in this last week. Between me and my younger brother, and I did take my girlfriend to the range too. So just in the last 7-8 days, I've put quite some rounds down range and taken my time with practicing. I practice here at home, drawing, holstering my weapon, so you can't just buy it and think that it's magically going to protect you. You have to put the time in. When the time comes, it needs to be ready and ready to go. I carry with one in the chamber at all times. I mean, when I first started carrying, I didn't feel comfortable in doing that, so I would carry without a round in the chamber. And I watched some YouTube videos, and one that I had seen was a gentleman who worked, I believe, at a jewelry store, and they were being robbed. He pulled his gun out and tried to rack his slide, and he couldn't even get it racked. I guess with the adrenaline dumping into his body and just all the commotion going on and someone pulling a gun, he couldn't even get his slide racked. So that really put me into thinking I need to carry at all times with a round in the chamber ready to go. Otherwise, I'm carrying a useless piece of metal that I may not even be able to use in a self-defense situation. What I did is I went out and I bought a Blackhawk Serpa Retention 2 level holster, and which is like a strong, like Kydex hard plastic holster that has a locking mechanism on the trigger guard. And what I did is I took an unloaded magazine and I would rack the slide with no round in the chamber, and I would holster the weapon. I would try to put it in all weird angles and different ways to try to get the trigger to engage and go off on my Springfield, and it never would. So after that, I did carry it, with no rounds in the magazine, with no round in the chamber, and I would carry it with the slide racked back, and I would carry it around the house for, about a week, and every night I would pull it out, and I would drop the magazine out, and I would pull the trigger, and just to show that the trigger had not gone off in any of my daily activities that I was doing whatsoever. So after that, carrying it like that for about a week, I decided, well, now I need to actually carry it with a round in the chamber. And at first I was petrified. I was scared that somehow magically my gun was going to go off and that it was going to just shoot me in the leg, I guess is the best way to put it. And, I don't know why I thought that, because, we all know that the only way it's going to go off is if I pull the trigger. A negligent discharge is the only thing going to cause my gun to go off and to harm me. I got comfortable carrying the Serpa holster around the house for about a week, and I started carrying it outside the house. And then eventually I did go to an in-waistband, which is what I would recommend to anyone at all, because, that's the way I carry it. That's the way I feel most comfortable carrying is in a waistband holster. I've had no issues. It's real light. No one knows it's there. Like I said, I've had no issues in waistband carrying other than wearing out holsters pretty quick. I'm thinking about trying something other than I want to try to get like a leather in waistband holster this next time, because even the Kydex ones, I don't know what it is. They're just not that comfortable compared to like a cloth holster. But I definitely need to try like a horsehide holster is what I would like to try next and see how that works out. But CCW, it's not for everybody. You have to be prepared and be ready to use your firearm if the need were to ever arise. It's not something that you just are going to pull out and, say stop. That isn't always going to work. You have to be willing and prepared to use your handgun at any time. That doesn't mean go out there and look for trouble. Since I've got my CCW permit, I've, put myself out of situations that could get me in trouble. I don't road rage, when I carry my firearm. I don't try to get in confrontations or to get into different ordeals with people. I try to keep myself out of those situations so I don't have to worry about it. I don't go drinking at the bar. I don't, a lot of things I don't do anymore that could possibly put me in a situation where I would need to use my firearm. And that's just something you really need to think about. As well. You get some guys that go and get their permit and they think they're some sort of badass automatically and just want to show it off and create problems with people, and that's just not what it's about. It's only about protecting you and protecting your family. And that's just a little bit I wanted to talk about. If anybody has any questions about everyday carry, about concealed deadly weapons permits, about obtaining your permit, about the different steps of what you have to go through, feel free to leave me a comment, message me. I'll try to comment back the best I can. Like I said, I've only been carrying for about 3.5 years now, but I do feel uncomfortable every day that I have to go without a firearm. It's just a part of me that, I feel like something's missing, kind of like if you left your cell phone at home, how some people feel when they leave that behind. That's how I feel when I leave my firearm at home, because I have to, whether I'm traveling out of state or, to something for work that I can't carry for some reason. It's an uncomfortable feeling deep down inside to know that if something were to happen, you're not prepared, you're not ready. There's a lot of people who say that, you shouldn't need to carry a gun. The cops are there to protect you. The cops are only the ones qualified. And it's a big pile of shit, to be honest. Like I said, I've shot more rounds downrange this month than most police officers shoot for qualification all year. So to say that, it's just, that's for a whole different topic. But anyways, if you have, like I said, if you have any questions, you want to know anything about concealed deadly weapons permits, about carrying with one in the chamber, different safety features, want to talk about XD, whatever you want to talk about, I'm here. Like I said, just let me know what you want to talk about, what you would like me to do a video on next. Just make sure that you like the video and leave some comments so I know that people want me to continue making these. I guys hope this was a little bit of information for you, and have a good day.